Well, the album comes out and it becomes a classic. And the content, even though you guys came from a street background, you guys weren't talking about selling dope or finessing people or getting over or bragging about how much money you had or your girls or whatever. There was a socially conscious message that permeated throughout that whole album, and people took to it. And now you guys are touring and you have fans and things are starting to build up for you. What was that time like after dropping that first album?
Man, dropping that first album, man, we were still trying to get a foothold in the hip hop industry. Still trying to dispel that damn rumor about the South is slow, the South is about booty shaking music. We were still out to prove that, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like we really didn't enjoy the fruits of our labor until, I say, after the third album, really. Because shit, we were still fighting for Southern pride at that time. You know what I'm saying? Having to battle with DJs in New York, not fucking with the Goodie Mob because, you know what I'm saying, the stereotype that was behind us, you know what I mean? And not just giving us a chance to really hear what we got to say. Just like Andre used to say, man, it's like, man, we got something to say, man. We got a demo tape and don't nobody want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because not only were we being discriminated by white folks in Georgia, we was also getting discriminated by our own people at the time. So I guess that was our drive to keep it going, because one thing I can remember, Organized Noise working with Outkast, that song called Claiming True. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't about being in no gang. It wasn't about being none of that. It's just about claiming true to who you are and who we were. We was just some hard heads, man, from Atlanta, Georgia, trying to put our city on the map and just giving people our experiences of what we was going through at the time as young men. So, man, that was my first time ever being on an airplane, man. You see what I'm saying? So it wasn't just the music thing. It was just, man, getting up out of Atlanta, Georgia, man, just trying to see, is it really different outside of Atlanta, Georgia? Do they really still treat us the same way? And it was different, especially in California, man. They loved us in California, man. Texas, they loved us in Texas. The Midwest, they accepted us. But just like you said, I mean, I wasn't no kingpin ass drug dealer. You see what I'm saying? I mean, so I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that. And neither were my partners. So that just cleared the air for us to really be real, to really be true. You see what I'm saying? So big ups to them people that, you know, that did what they had to do and that continued to doing what they're doing. But we had to do what the hell we had to do, man. And we had to claim true. And that was a process of claiming true to me. Yeah.
Well, one of the people in California that was a fan of Goodie Mob was Tupac.
Oh, man, yeah, man.
And I guess you guys first met him at the Soul Train Music Awards?
Yeah, but, you know, Timo had a kind of like a relationship with him because Timo knew his sister. So I think they knew each other first. But my first time meeting Pac was behind stage at the Source Awards. And just to see that man's energy, man, and just, you was able to touch him. He wasn't the type of person that like, man, you know, don't touch me, man. You know, he wasn't that type of person, man. So we met him, man, that time, man. And next thing you know, man, we up in the studio with him, man. Yeah.
Okay, so you meet him backstage at the Source Awards.
Right.
And that was the same Source Awards where Suge Knight goes on stage and does the infamous, you know, all you artists out there who don't want your CEO all up in your music video dancing,
man,
come to death row.
Man.
And then everyone started booing. It was a pretty serious situation. I've interviewed people that were there that talked about that, you know, corrupt and so forth. And it was an ugly situation. What was that whole scene like from your point of view?
Yeah, I'm from the South, man. We like to see hard shit. We like to hear hard shit. We like to see hard shit. When he did that, I was like, bruh, that guy there, man, he's a tough dude, man. I'm talking about what I mean, just to sit there and say that, and Puffy was on the front row, everybody there. It was in New York, right?
Right.
Right? And you in New York. And you in New York doing it. I just thought I thought that might have been the hardest shit I ever seen, man. I didn't know that it was gonna get to how it got. I just thought it was just competition. You know how, you know what I'm saying, one team talk shit to the other team. I kind of thought that it was that type of thing that was going on, but little did I know that it would turn out like that. I didn't know it was gonna turn out like that, man. I just thought that it was just talking shit, man. Two big millionaires, you know what I'm saying, talking shit to each other.
Well, Tupac was a fan of you guys, and he invited you to the studio, I guess, the next night after the Source Awards.
Yeah, I think it was.
And I remember I interviewed Edie Amin from the Outlaws, who's actually a really good friend of mine. We've actually formed a relationship over the years. And he said that you guys were the first ones to hear Tupac's Hit 'Em Up. How did Goodie Mob react to that record?
They was just standing there. They was just standing there like, oh shit.
At the time, I didn't know that we was the first one to hear that. So we just walking into the studio, and Tupac is in the booth, right? And all I hear is him saying, "My niggas Goodie Mob in the house. You know what I'm saying? Get them what they want, man. You know, y'all want some Hennessy or whatever." But little did I know that was gonna be on The Good Life. So we heard The Good Life and we heard Hit 'Em Up in that same night. And I actually thought that we was gonna, you know what I'm saying, put something down that night. But he was on a roll, man. I was just really a spectator, really just seeing how he did the shit, man. It had to be one of the most surreal moments, man, in my life, man, to see that guy in the booth at that time and saying our name too, saying Goodie Mob, and now it's on the album too. They didn't even know the history was being made at that time, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of diss tracks over the years, a lot of classics, from Drake's Back to Back to BDP's The Bridge Is Over, to No Vaseline.
That's right. That's real.
There's a lot.
That's real.
I would say that if you talk to most of the serious hip hop fans, the ones that have been around and have seen, you know, the over 40 hip hop fans that have seen it from the beginning, I would say that most people would say they Hit 'Em Up as the greatest diss track of all time.
He went in, man. You know what? That's up there with Vaseline, No Vaseline to me. You see what I'm saying? Because with No Vaseline, Q was unapologetic. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about calling names and all that type of shit. So I think that Tupac was coming from that. He was coming from that vine right there. And then plus, if you're in hip hop and you're trying to do something classic, you got to revert back to the greats. You know what I mean? And pull back from that to make your shit that much lethal. And it was an lethal injection what he did with that, man.
Oh yeah. So that song comes out and really just all hell breaks loose at that point. And I've talked about this in some of my interviews, how that song kind of led to the Vibe album cover. I think it was Tretch that was talking about it. How at first it was just a song, but then the Vibe put Biggie and Puffy on the cover and said East Coast versus West Coast. And then that became coined as the East Coast, West Coast beef. Right. And now everyone is sort of joining in.
Right.
And people are getting hurt. People are getting beat up. It's getting more and more tense. But Tupac, I remember I interviewed Greg Nice, who was really close to Tupac, was even staying with him for a while. And we talked about the whole One Nation project, where Tupac wanted to end this whole East Coast, West Coast bullshit. And he wanted to get all these different groups from around the country. And one of those groups was Outkast.
You want Primo to do some music with? He's like, yeah. I'm like, I call Primo. Yeah, you want to come and work with Pac? Yeah. I'm like, you want to get Fat Joe in it? He's like, yeah. I'll call Fat Joe too. You want that? He's like, do you know how to reach the other guy, Buckshot? I'm like, yeah. And we started doing it just like that, and it started happening, man. It was going down. He's like, I gotta fix this. I gotta fix this.
So he felt that he was responsible for the East Coast West Coast beef, and he was trying to do things to kind of turn it down a bit.
I don't know per se if those were the words that he would use, but I guess in the whole end of it, yeah, he wanted to get it right.
Well, was he talking with you guys about being on that at all or no?
Well, I know at one time that he was talking about actually uniting with Goodie Mob. Because at that time, I was thinking like, okay, damn, what, Tupac finna be in Goodie Mob? Oh man, that shit gonna be hard if Tupac be in Goodie Mob. So he had reached out to us, man, and was really like the type of vibe we was on. Cause I'm pretty sure, man, we could have been on any type of vibe that was going on around us, man, any type of vibe. But for some reason, man, I guess he felt a type of brotherhood like he felt with the Outlaws, man, and just kind of wanted to join forces with us, man. I just thought that shit was gonna be, man, so historical, man, for him to join forces with us, man. Hear him on the same song with us, man. The tones, the lyrical content, man, just his fans, Goodie Mob fans, man. I thought that was gonna be, man, that was gonna be nice, man.
So Tupac was talking about being a member of the Goodie Mob?
Yeah, Tupac was talking about getting in Goodie Mob, man. Being a part of Dungeon family too, yeah. Yeah.
Goodie Mob with CeeLo, Tupac, Khujo.
Man, that thing would have been hard, man. What you talking about?
And Timo, that would have been quite a group right there.
Wow, yeah, man. Yeah.